And welcome your host with the most, Roger.
What it do? Welcome to another episode of Out the Box. Today is all about the females. So we're gonna be talking to my girl ML6, some more famous ladies in the city, and of course we got performance from my girl Chelsea, who keep it locked right here. It's Out the Box. Let go.
Yeah. Hey, how you like me now? Yeah, hey, how you like me now? Hey, how you like me? Yeah, hey, he done stepped into his groove. How you like me now? Had a two real rude. How you like me now? Oh, he got nothing left to prove. How you like me now? Been working on my next move. How you like me now? Hey, how you like me now? Worth a couple thousand. You know, got that wavy sound. Yeah, hey, how you like me now? Hey, how you like me now? Hey, say how you like me now. Boosie wipe me down, fresh from head to toe. You ain't no graduated drip.
Let's face it, we love strong women. Michelle Obama, Destiny's Child, the Powder Puff Girls. No, seriously. It may be a man's world, but we know that women make the world go round. Your girl Beyonce said girls run the world. And if that is true, they're doing a good job at it. There are more than a few male-dominated industries in the world, but, women are paving their way and making them pretty much their own. I reached out to some of my favorite strong women in the media industry just to get their take on how they navigate day-to-day and make it look so easy. One thing I really wanted to know that, is it really pressure being female, a female of color, and a female of color in media?
There's a little pressure when it comes to media and having a voice. You want to be likable, of course, but you want to be yourself at the same time and be approachable. The thing about media is that you're out there. So anything that you can say or anything that you do is scrutinized. You're in the public eye, kind of. But I think for my persona, I don't really have problems with that. My persona is really kind of sweet and girly, a little sexy, grown and sexy. So I usually talk more toward the women during my show, and I hopefully won't have any of those problems. So my voice is sweet. It's not really that strong.
As a woman in general, and yes, as a Black woman, I feel like we have to perform higher. We have to do more, we have to be more, and then we still have to navigate not being too serious or not being too angry as people want to, label us if we stand up for ourselves. So we have to play like a balancing act between all those things to try to get the same outcome as just our counterpart.
The ability to overcome, be successful, manage, be on top, level up, any of those words that mean higher. I think that the power of a woman comes when she is able to grasp the resources that make her higher and be able to use them to make the world better. And the world not necessarily meaning a global spectrum, but world as it pertains to what she encompasses. Like for my world, it's going to be different than, Natalie's world is going to be different. And although we operate in the same realm, our worlds could be totally different. So I think that power defined by what you can do with the resources that you have and to grow higher in that power or in the presence of where you are in your world.
I do feel that women are responsible somewhat for the enrichment of other women. We all want to see each other win. We all want to lift each other up. And I think it's good or it's important to give someone or little girls someone to look up to, or not even little girls, inspire others, bring others along the way. Once we get to a point where, we're up where we want to be, we can pull somebody up, along with us. So yeah, it's important. There is a responsibility held to that. We're on a high platform, so we need to act accordingly.
All right. Well, what is something you would like to see happen this year in the world of women?
Just for us to stop apologizing for being who we are, or dumbing ourselves down just to fit in certain groups or in the world. Just being who we are, not apologizing, and not begging for people to view us differently in terms of if we change, like not changing ourselves so that people can view us differently, just being our authentic self.
Just win, women in general, but of course a Black woman. It's so important for us to see each other win. That's an inspiration in itself.
Confidence, not arrogance, more financial support of one another. And, I don't think we should define our finances by how much, because there are people that don't have a lot of finances, but they can get a lot of things done with the finances they have.
Women are known to wear more than a few hats in anything they do. And even with all the power they possess, they still have to prove themselves day to day.
It's not a feeling that necessarily resonates with me, but I do feel those feelings, especially when it comes to wearing so many hats. And we as women, that's what we do. I don't know if it's how we're built, but I think it's how we are raised in our worlds and our environments, and we tend to always be the one that can spearhead and motivate and encourage and have the power to handle multiple things at one time, whether it's a spiritual things, physical things, environmental things, other people's things. God gives us that innate ability to do that.
Since we're in the entertainment industry, maybe we may date around, or maybe a little intimidating because we have a platform, and we may seem a little unapproachable at times, or maybe that we have such a big voice that it may be kind of tough to deal with us at times.
So what made me start my organization, it was in 2008 during the Obama administration. And I remember Barack Obama asking, what can you do in your community to make a difference? And this was during a time where I wasn't really happy on my job. And so I felt like I needed to do something outside of my job to bring me peace and happiness. And so I just drew back to what I felt like I needed as a young girl and wanted to do that for other young girls.
How do you define Black girl magic?
Black girl magic is owning who you are, honestly, and tapping into your own magical powers, whether it's, your hair or finding something that you love about yourself, being proud of who you are and knowing who you are and owning it.
Being able to be yourself and create things, just being magical. I mean, really, like, it's so many things. Black girl magic, wow, we are Black girl magic. People like
anybody that is out there that is of color, that is doing it, not defined by the terms of someone else, that is doing it on your terms and you are loving it. That's Black girl magic, period. Don't let somebody else define what you're doing. If you are out there doing it and you love it and you know it's changing the world, that is Black girl magic.
This segment of Out the Box is brought to you by Broughton Premier Events, LLC. Be sure to check us out at a Couple of Visions vision board party at the Creative Place Huntsville on Saturday, January 25th. Head to OutTheBoxTV.com for more details.
It's called All I Say It. Look, mommy, I know good. I'm so good. Package is over. It's over, killer. I'm not your companion or your man stand.
Welcome back to Out the Box, your man Roger. My girl, Michael Logan, most notably known as ML6 to the Tennessee Valley, our midday personality. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. First of all, you're in like a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
How are women held to a different level of responsibility than their male counterparts?
I think it's all about our reputations, how we approach a thing, how we handle a thing, and how we walk away from a thing. And I say walk away from a thing, it's how we walk away from the interview. When the artist or whomever comes into the studio, we have to have a certain level of, an extreme level of, professionalism. But when those certain gestures or certain words are said or innuendos, as women, we have to make sure that not only we catch it, but respond accordingly, that it doesn't come across as if we're being thirsty for the comment or thirsty for whatever they're saying. So we really have to pay attention to everything that's around us and handling it to a T, because we get judged for every little thing.
Everything. Now, this hashtag Me Too movement has been major over the past year or so, and a lot of people still feeling kind of not giving it too much weight, because we do know there's some women who are playing the side of just being involved to get attention, and then I think that kind of invalidates the women that actually are going through it. What has been your take on this whole movement? Because a lot of people are being accused now of sexual harassment left and right. That it's almost like a fad.
I feel like it's unfortunate when the women who are doing it out of spite, or the women that are doing it just because it's the new wave of things, it really takes away from those women that have been, mentally, physically, emotionally abused. And I hate for it to be a stigma of we always have to question the story, because so many stories are false. And they're gonna get worse as time goes on, as we've seen. Like, whenever there's something going on, a wave of something, there's so much hate in this world that somebody would just do something just to say, you know what, I wanna ruin that person's life because of the color of their skin, or because it reminds me of something that happened in my past. So I'm gonna do something that ruins that life. And it takes away from the honesty of those who have had things done to them.
Now, of course, we have women, when women voice their opinions, when they're strong and they voice their opinions, they're perceived as bitches.
Right.
And then when black women speak up, they're perceived as bitches because they're black, basically. Right. You're a female personality, you're on the radio with an opinion every day. Has that affected how you do your job, because how we look at women who just speak?
Well, when I first got in radio, I made it a point to say to myself what type of radio personality I wanted to be. And I wanted to have a good balance of being able to, if I don't like something, being able to say it how I feel it. And also being in a way to have compassion and just a sense of, I guess, a tone of understanding mixed with that. I feel that you can, prime example, last week, I believe Sunny she was on The View, and she was making a statement that she could have very much gotten irate about and come across as the angry black woman, but she was able to handle and say her point in a very calm tone that was effective. Meanwhile, everyone else around her were the angry people. But she managed to handle herself in a way to get the message across. Unfortunately, the stigma is if women speak up for themselves, if a woman gets to a tone of which she does come across as being that bitch. But I say this, I'd rather be that bitch than let someone walk all over me.
Be that bitch. All right. Listen, y'all know what that sound effect means. Of course, ML6 does not. If you've been watching the show, whenever that goes off, there's a challenge that's presented to the guests.
I'm not eating no bugs.
You're not eating no bugs. But what we're going to do is, we're going to have Primetime pull something out the box. I don't know what he may play, but whatever, I need you to pull out your inner Beyonce, the ultimate icon of feminism, and I need you to perform. So let's see what you got, PT. I want you to perform. Let's go.
JJ Fat and
Let's go.
Minds like ours can never be stopped. Two of us and I know we're fresh. Party rockers, some of the names I've never seen. The J is just the Hollywood Jam. And the full fresh A&D depth. Behind the turntables is DJ Train. Mixing and scratching is the name of the game. Here's a little something about nosy people. It's not real hard, it's plain and simple, baby. Supersonic. Supersonic.
I love you. Thank you for coming through. This is my girl ML6. Y'all can catch her every day on 103.1. We up your midday personality. Thank you for having a voice. Thanks for not being afraid to use your voice. If you need more information about my girl, you can go to the website outtheboxtv.com. We're just gonna make it happen.
All day, every day.
All right, we'll be back out the box. Let's go.
Supersonic is a word when people start to listen, especially if
This segment of Out the Box is brought to you by Rookie's Wings Bar and Grill, located 3612 Governor's Drive in Huntsville. Have you tried us yet?
Welcome back to Out the Box TV. Got my girl Chelsea who about to hit the stage.
Hello.
Doing your thing. Now, first of all, I'm hearing that your first project was kind of put together by accident. Explain that to me.
It wasn't really accident. It was more so an experiment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was making songs. Like, I got tired of waiting on producers. So, like, I was just like, well, I can produce my own stuff. And so, like, I just started, like, playing around with it. I got my first little MIDI controller, and my friend gave me Logic. And I just started playing around with it. And then, like, you know, I've always been songwriting, but I just started, like, putting songs together, and it ended up, like, telling the story. And then, like, I was like, ooh, I want to make it a project. But I never planned on releasing it. It was just like...
So who talked you into releasing it?
The Lord. I'm no joke. Just God. Like,
this is God.
Yes, he's like, release that. Release it now, my daughter. Release it. So I just ended up releasing it, and yeah.
All right. Well, we about to make this happen.
That's all you want to
for
ask me?
Well, I could ask you some more embarrassing stuff, but I don't know.
Ask me whatever you want to ask me.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
She said,
whatever you want to ask me.
What's been your most exhilarating moment on stage?
A time recently, I was at R&B Vibes Live. Shout out to them, you know, Ryan and them. And I broke free. Like, I was like jumping around on the stage, which I've always seen myself as like how I envision Chelsea, who was like a rock star, like literally like shaking my hair and just going crazy. Like, not necessarily smashing guitars and stuff, but yeah, like I see myself like going crazy. And so I actually had that moment to where like I just got out of my head, because although I'm very like confident and comfortable with who I am, when it comes to being a performer, like it's something totally different.
You have to be super vulnerable.
Yeah, you do.
It's easy for you, though.
Yeah, and you have to be okay looking dumb. Like, you just have to do what you feel instead of worrying about like looking stupid.
You know how many dumb looking artists we got right now that we supporting? We
Yeah.
support you.
I know. So yeah, I know. Like, I look stupid now. Like, it's cool.
Okay.
But that was like the most exhilarating thing, I think. Well, in the first time, like, I made a beat that was actually like functional. That was cool. I was like, oh man, I made that. Like, that's so cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so what's the name of the song you about to perform for us?
It's called Is It Me? It's emotional. You might cry. You got tissue?
I got tissue, a sweat rag,
Okay.
and
You
all
might
that.
need it. You
I'm
might-
prepared.
Okay.
I'm prepared.
All righty.
All right, y'all get up for my girl Chelsea who?
I don't understand all the issues I'm having. I like being alone by myself. There's no one to hurt me around, no one to keep me tight. But for some reason I feel alone, and it doesn't feel right. I wonder, is it me? 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 Something don't feel right. I don't know what I'm saying. Everything's coming out. It's super complicated. For some reason, I think I want to feel something that good love can do. Why? Don't need no one, but I understand troubles in me. But it gets better than this. Oh, is it me? Is it me? Oh, is it me? Ooh, is it me? Yeah, yeah. Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Oh, oh.
My girl Chelsea, who? Did you ever find out if it was?
No, it's not me. I was just in my feelings that day when I wrote that song, man. But no, it's not me. I'm good.
I got you. Well, you know how it goes down. Be sure to check out our website, outtheboxtv.com. For more information on my girl Chelsea Who. Find out how you can stream my EP, all that good stuff, and keep an eye out for this one. Praise and worship.
Praise the Lord. Thank you for my gift.
Y'all keep it locked. We gonna catch up with you guys next week for another episode of Out the Box. Let go.
Worth a couple doubt. You know, got that wavy sound.